Last season, 17% of flagrant fouls were against Clark. 17%. I mean, there's how many players? And 17% are all against Clark. Now, you got to be asking yourself, where are the refs?
Not only is Caitlin Clark causing a stir in the WNBA, she has become a hot topic in entertainment, media, and sports. The world can't ignore what she's doing, not because she wanted for attention. Game after game, she's drawing audiences who wouldn't typically watch. Moment by moment, she's garnering attention that has not related to the final scores. And for some reason, the chatter around her simply keeps getting louder. There have been outstanding players in the past. But what's going on right now? This is not the same. The way others respond to her, discussing her and attempting to characterize her conveys more information than any statistic could. And once you begin to hear what, you'll understand why no one can stop watching, according to some of the biggest people in the world. Additionally, just when it appears that everyone's things change when you board the Caitlin Clark train. Because when voices like that of Christine Brennan and Dr. Phil Way, the discourse reaches a whole new level when something far more straightforward is said instead of praise. What they stated, you won't anticipate it. Shane Gillis doesn't experience anxiety. He is a stand-up comedian who earns a living by making fun of people on stage. He doesn't care about pop singers or presidents. However, one evening in Indiana, he noticed a person among the throng who genuinely confused him.
I was starstruck. Caitlin Clark was at my show in Indiana, and I had, for some reason, I was like, oh, like, I don't. Every once in a while, somebody gets me that I didn't think was going to make me like.
There's a clip.
Oh.
That was genuine humility. That was a genuine, wide-eyed moment of amazement directed at a WNBA player. Just basketball, no Hollywood experience, no music deal. That's the effect of Caitlin Clark. She does not enter a room. Even if you're the one with the microphone, she takes control. It wasn't the only one, either. Dan Dakich has spent time in the game for a very long time. He has worked as an analyst at ESPN, coached at Indiana, and witnessed some of the greatest players in history. Therefore, it's more than just flattery when a man like Dan claims to have never seen a player quite like Caitlin Clark. That's a seasoned broadcaster warning the league as a whole.
The most unique, fan-friendly basketball game that a player in the WNBA has ever had. It's, I said from the get-go, it's Steph Curry. We've seen, and this is unfortunate, we had a great player here, Tamika Catchings, but we've seen her game. Asia Wilson's a terrific player, but we've seen her game.
Yeah, we have.
We've seen from the free throw line down, or we've seen from the three-point line down. We've seen, seen anything like Caitlin Clark.
And that's the secret. He's not merely stating that she's gifted. He claims that she is redefining women's basketball's visual language. Her presence has altered how viewers watch, and her range has altered how teams defend. Nobody was concerned about someone pulling before Caitlin from 35 feet. Now, she is being picked up by teams at the logo. She is compelling coaches to create defensive coverages in the manner of men, in a league that has never required them. When Dan says, "We've never seen this," he's not lying. Because defenders are scrambling rather than responding when Clark is on the court. However, not everyone views it as a favorable. ESPN's Caroline Peck raised some eyebrows following a decisive Fever victory, not because Indiana won. However, Peck believed that Caitlin's lack of participation improved them.
At that game just now, look, the Fever have been on a tear. They've won 2 in a row. 25-point blowout of the Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup final, and then 27 against the Aces in this one. In both of those games without Caitlin Clark. How is Indiana getting this done right now?
Look, I think that Indiana is even more dangerous when Caitlin Clark doesn't play because she's a ball-dominant guard. The ball's in her hands a lot, so you know what you need to try to take away.
That sounds like analysis now. But let's face it, that's a shot. Not simply X's and O's. You don't mention players in that way. Are role players, in your opinion? You say that about celebrities who are forcing everyone else to change. The twist is that Caitlin did make adjustments. Her assists have increased and her turnovers have decreased after that quote. The victories are mounting, she's changing, not simply dominating. When you're not on the floor, if your game is still risky. And much more terrifying when you're on it, that's superstar status. But even her most critical detractors couldn't endure it for very long. It cannot be concealed. Haters of Caitlin Clark have existed and likely will continue to do so. However, what distinguishes her story is the number of those haters who finally change their minds. They begin applauding instead of simply ceasing to jeer loudly. Few people acknowledged that more candidly than Sophia Ruffin.
Hating on a person is real, like, because they're good. And I'm just gonna admit, like, I was a Caitlin Clark hater that turned into a fan. But I was only hating on her skill set at that time because she was going up against my favorite team, you know, our favorite, just period across the board, South Carolina. And then the year that she knocked them out of the championship game, it was like, oh, nah.
There was no tactical breakdown there. It was a heartbreaking admission. Fans in South Carolina are devoted. They bike in support of Dawn Staley and all that the program stands for. Additionally, when Caitlin entered and became irate, it wasn't just the bracket that was shaken by their run. Loyalty was shaken by IT. IT was a shift because of that game. A reminder that team colors have no bearing on greatness. T enters, muffles the commotion, and modifies the result. Clark didn't use charm to win handily. She won her over with calculating, icy buckets on the largest phase of the year. And when it seemed like there was no way for things to become louder, someone compared. Shook everything. The PBD podcast is a reliable source of information. They provide more than simply takes. They throw grenades. Additionally, they didn't describe Caitlin Clark as amazing or thrilling when they mentioned her. They gave her a far more explosive moniker. Caitlin Clark will be the WNBA's Jackie Robinson.
If she stays healthy, there's a group of them that would hope for her to be out. But
why do you say she's going to be the Jackie Robinson, the WNBA?
Well,
it's not like she's the first white girl.
She's not the first white girl, but she's the first white superstar at the levels where she's scoring these, you know, the threes she's shooting. She's like a Steph Curry. She's the first actual superstar that people care. When's the last time we watched like college basketball? If I told you, tell me the greatest college basketball female basketball players last 30 years.
They're not claiming that Caitlin Clark is merely gifted, so let that simmer. They claim that she is a barrier. A game changer, a breaker. It's not the color of her skin, but rather the way she's transitioning, reaching audiences that have never been reached by the league. Last year, millions of fans, the majority of whom were unable to name a single WNBA franchise, are already repeating her statistics, filling venues, and purchasing fever shirts. She's not merely participating in the league. She is bringing it into the limelight with her. If you think that sounds dramatic, you won't believe what a late night legend recognized her. You are not only in the spotlight but also on the national radar when David Letterman is seated across from you. He has hosted Hall of Famers, movie stars, and presidents. After leaving network television, he started a Netflix series where he only conducts interviews with the world's most intriguing individuals. Thus, when he and Caitlin sat down, it was validation, not filler. Clark. Additionally, he didn't inquire about her salary or statistics. He investigated what motivates her.
That encapsulates what I know of you as a human being. It's that the competitive drive that overrides every little daily occurrence. Am I right about that?
It wasn't casual conversation. Letterman doesn't give out compliments. He is noted for throwing curveballs and is dry and snarky. But with Caitlin, he bent closer, because he saw more than just a scorer. It was a 22-year-old who had he has observed the same edge and tunnel vision in every icon he has interviewed. That drive? It's not the only reason she hits the logo. Threes. People like Letterman can't stop watching because of this. And the data did as well, since the figures. The same thing is being screamed by them. Hype is not what Christine Brennan deals with. She works in the hype industry.